Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, okay, look. So here's my setup. I was trying to do this on Zoom, but now the thing is telling me I don't have permission. So let me move my phone here so that I can do it from here. But what I'm going to do is still try and figure out how to do this on my Zoom so you can see what's going on. But hello, I hope I'm on the right one. Am I on the right? Thank you, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. I am Rhenotha, your show host. Let me see. I think that's me. Yeah, I'm on the right one. Okay. Thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. I'm your host, Rhenotha. This is my page, Rhenotha Whitaker. So tonight, we are talking, did he want to holla? Or did he want to get hired? I can't make this stuff up. And particularly, we are having a conversation about a specific person. And I'm going to try and go live again on the Zoom before I get into this conversation. So let's see. I'm not going to type all the stuff in. I'm just going to see what happens. For the past month, I know you guys have seen my hair was different. I had my twists in, but I took it out today, child. The things was fusing at the roots, but I'm getting them back again. Let me just make sure. Am I on the right? Okay, yeah. Can y'all hear that? Okay, cool. All right, here we go. So I'm going to put myself in here. I'm going to change it to Single Lady Chronicles. And I'm going to type in my description and I'm going to hit go live. It's not working. Cheese and crackers. I hope can y'all hear me? Oh, it's doing it. Wait. It's doing it. Let me just see. It's doing it. Hi, good evening. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. It says preparing live stream. Let me just show you what I'm looking at. See? Hey, Peach! Peach, I'm gonna get you, Peach. Because crickets. Been calling you all day. Checking on you. Know I got to check on the sick and shattered. All right, so it's doing it, but I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. Thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. I have a report out. Today's show is, did he want to holla or did he want to get hired? Did he want to holla or did he want to get hired? And yes, I'm sitting in the air conditioning, but you know, I'm a woman of a certain age and I'm sweating. So there's that. But thank you for tuning in. Let me just go ahead and dive right in. So there was a gentleman that I met online. He swiped right, so I swiped right too. Didn't really want to go to Facebook dating because I'm still hoping that Peaches, don't judge me. Don't judge me, Peaches. Hey, Miss Sharonda. I'm still hoping that. Anyway. So he swiped right and we started having conversation. It was on Monday. And one of the jokey jokes that he came up with was that oh, that's not him. He that he works for Carvana. He works for Carvana. And he was like, you know, if you want to trade your car in. I was like, no, I drive my cars till the wheels fall off, sir. I'm not trading in no car. I'm not doing that. I don't want to. So then, then he was like, oh, okay, I'm just saying if you want to do it in the future. I said, no problem. I'm good. So then he starts talking about his interests. Not interests. He starts talking about that, well, first off, he's Jamaican. He's Jamaican. So he got a whole bunch of jobs. He then says he's a contractor. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I might need, you know, some work done. So what drew me in was that he said he's a Christian. He's saved and sanctified. He's a musician at his church. He's a musician at his church. His wife died during COVID. And he takes care of his daughter. And so I was like, all right, let me give him my number. So I gave him my number. And he texted me, said, hey, you busy? This is all in the same day. And he says, hey, it's John from Facebook Dating. I said, oh, okay. I said, it was late. I said, okay, I'm getting ready for bed, but, you know, not yet. So then he says, oh, okay, I was asking, do you drive? If not, I'm an operations manager at Carvana, and you can come to my job if you want to trade your car in. Y'all got to keep watching, because this is shenanigans, okay? Or, you know, you can trade your car in. So, of course, I said, no, I drive my cars till the wheels fall off. I don't play that. Cars are a depreciating asset. That it makes no sense to keep buying cars just because they're newer. These new cars, and I sound, oh my gosh, I sound like my aunties. Back in the day, the aunties, back in the day, they used to say the same things I'm saying now. It's crazy. So, I sound like the old lady now. I'm like, and the old uncles used to be like, them new cars ain't no good. When I tell you, I just said the same thing a couple weeks ago. Them new cars ain't no good. My sister she got a rental car, which is the same car as mine, a Nissan Rogue. And when I tell you that trunk is small, but I have a Nissan Rogue. It's a 2019. It's a 2019 Nissan Rogue. My trunk is huge, but this 2024 that she had, or 2025, the trunk is so small. But anyway. So, I was like, no, I drive my cars till the wheels fall off. He was like, I was just saying, he said, just letting you know for the future. I said, cool. I said, my car will be fine. He was like, absolutely. But he said, I'm an operations manager. I said, okay, good. I'm following the bouncing ball. And so I asked him a question. I asked him a question because I'm getting back to, you wanted to get to know me. So I said, are you really 44, or that's what Facebook says? He says, no, I'm 45. I says, oh, okay, when's your birthday? And then I said, have you figured out how to say my name? And then he sent over a voice note where he said my name correctly. And I was like, oh, great job. I said, I'm impressed, you know? And then he goes into, like, I'm trying to ask get to know questions. And then he goes into, oh, okay, I'm in the process of fixing up a second house I got off the auction. So I was like, nice. I need an auction house. Right? Now here I go. Like, you know, interested in potentially, you know, being a mogul. I was like, I need an auction house. And then he says, I says, well, where are your houses? He lives in Easton. He says he has a house in Easton and one in Wilkes-Barre. And I was like, okay, good. I'm impressed. And, what else? Oh, then I go back to, have you been in many relationships? Because I'm trying to bring it back to, sir, you're texting me because you said you were interested in me. So I'm bringing it back to the relationships. I said, so have you been in many relationships after your wife passed? He says, no, I had to be there for my daughter. So I said, so this is your first time dating? He said, yes. I said, no previous relationships, no situationships. He says, no, my daughter lives with me after her mother passed away. I can't just bring anybody to my house. None of that. My father passed away last year. So I said, I'm surprised, men would be men after all. I said, I'm impressed. He says, I think about working. He said, I think about working, making money, owning a business. I don't think about sex, none of that. I was like, oh, praise God, priorities. Hallelujah. He says, not every man you have, okay, now this is, child, this English, I don't know. But he said, that's another thing. These folks don't use punctuation. So not every man you have, this is no punctuation. This is a run-on sentence. So I'm trying to figure out where to follow the bouncing ball. Not every man, you have men that goes to work, that own their house, their car, have an actual bank account. I'm a man of God. I have an 18-year-old who never is going to see her mother again. So I'm not thinking about lusting. I'm thinking about a foundation. You can't build a foundation on sex. I work hard. That can never break my house down. I make 6 figures. I'm a man first. With the help of the Lord, praise the Lord, with the help of the Lord, I'm not whatever guy you used to seeing. So I was like, you're rare. I said, that is to be commended. The Lord, and then I said, praise God for the man of God. Then he says, yes, but I have zero tolerance for games. I buy houses. Here he go. He back to buying houses. He back to telling me So I buy houses. I fix them up. I rent them out. I said, okay. He said, I had a foreclosure. I did a foreclosure. I buy foreclosed homes for $5,000 to $15,000. I was like, same, sir, same. Let's go. He said, I fix them up, then I rent them out. I said, you need to share your knowledge. He said, to who? I was like, to me. Okay. I said, because I'm trying to build my portfolio. He says, okay, let me know. I can teach you. You got to let me know when you're ready to learn. I said, I'm ready. He said, like how? Are you good at saving? I was like, yeah, I got to, I'm doing my thing. He says, well, what are you doing with your property? I said, well, I live in this one. He says, then he says, do you have funds saved? I said, I think in a year, I'll probably be able to get something else. Y'all got to keep watching. Keep watching. I think in a year, I'll be able to get something else. I'll be ready for another smart purchase. And then I said, I have funds. But then I called him. I was like, yeah. So I said, I don't think that's something you should be asking people. Like, literally, I just met you. But I don't think you really should be asking if folk got money in the bank. That kind of thing. So he called me. And we had a conversation. I tried again. I was like, I was like, so what are you looking for in a relationship? 5 seconds later, the conversation went back to, I was like, yeah. The conversation went back to, so you need a contractor? I was like, well, I got to do a basement. I got to get my basement done. He was like, oh, okay. And then I went back to the conversation again. I was like, so, where do you live? What's going on? You got, when would you be able to go out? And he was like, you let me know. I said, well, you make a plan. Make a plan. And then we hung up. And he said, all right, I'll text you in the morning. He texted me the next morning. And the next morning was, good morning. Good morning, beautiful, of course. I said, good morning, how are you? I said, I'm good, I'm at work. He says, oh, okay. Question, do your basement have a lot of junk in it, or is it clear? I said, it's clear. He says, no, it's, he says, oh, okay, because you're a woman of God, church going, I will look out for you. So I said, thank you, nothing wrong with getting the quote. Because, sir, I don't know you. Sir, I don't know you. I'm just not going to, and I know we do that. We do random, we randomly find contractors anyway. We do, right? But it's normally a referral from somebody, their cousin, who did the work, who did good work, blah, 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 right? And so that was his question the next morning. Because you're a woman of God, I'm going to look out for you. So I was like, okay, cool. I said, nothing wrong with getting a quote. What's your budget? I was like, 0. 0. He said, throw me a number. I was like, 10K. He said, okay, I can do that. And then I said, you haven't even seen it. He said, no, I was saying I can work with that. And he said, I don't need to see it. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not going to charge you an estimate to come out and do the work. I said, okay. I said, I was in the meeting. I said, okay, I'm in the meeting. He said, you never answered. So this is like, maybe this is hours later. I said, well, I probably need a payment plan. And he says, well, what's a payment plan? He said, you never answered. I said, can you show me some pics of your work? Because at that time I was in a lunch. I said, can you show me some pics of your work? He said, it's on Instagram. And then he showed me the pictures. And then I think this is the same day. It is. And then this is hours later, not asking, hey, how you doing? How your day going? Did you have, how was your meeting? None of that, or when can we meet? So what type of plan you need? And then I was driving and he said, talk to me. Okay. And then he says, go through like the work. I'm like, what? Huh? So again, no punctuation. So I'm trying to decipher what he's saying. And so I said, I'm getting lost in translation. I said that. He said, what kind of payment plan do you need? I said, likely a small deposit, but I haven't committed to anything yet. He said, I'm just asking. I said, of course. He said, because I wouldn't have to wait until September. Do I have to get the materials? I says, are you asking me that? I said, yes. He said, because I be getting a lot of work. I says, hey there, I'm in a meeting. I can't really make a decision to go into construction while I'm at work. There are a lot of things I need to consider. He said, okay, well, we'll talk about it. And then I didn't talk to him the rest, there was no more interaction. And then he says, well, I guess you ain't dealing with me no more. This is 11:30 at night. I says, hello, I had an event until 8 o'clock. I got home at 9. Then I went outside to ride my bike and I just took a shower. Now I'm editing a video. How was your day? Because you keep coming at me about potentially doing my basement. He said it was good. Got kind of busy in the afternoon. I said, same. I had meetings all day and 2 events after work. Then he said, that's what's up. Now explain the payment plan to me. So I went on ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT, what's the payment plan? I copied and pasted verbatim and put it in the text and said, this is what a payment plan is. He said, okay, that sounds about right. So how would you do it? I'm like, what? He said, the 10K. I said, little by little. I said, does that include the materials? So then I said, well, how do you want? He said, how do you want to do it? I said, you just said yes. Yes, I did. He said, yes, I did. I was saying why you was gonna get them. Oh, why was I going to get the materials? I said, I wasn't. He said, okay, so I would like to know what you will pay up front to me and payments bi-weekly. Okay, I said, okay, now that I know that's acceptable, I will consider that in my decision. So then he says a question mark. I says, I have not made a decision to use you as a contractor as of yet. Okay, well, you better let me know because I be getting jobs a lot. I said, understood. And I be setting up days due to my work. I said, gotcha. He said, so if you have someone else and you trying to do a price check, that's cool. I can finish what I'm doing and don't got to waste my mind wondering or thinking I was actually looking you out. I said, you're making assumptions. He says, no, I just want to be on top of everything that I do. Everything is counted for. That's all. That's all. Nothing personal. I said, okay. And then he says, yeah, one thing about me is that I know what I'm doing in life. I have everything set up. and I never responded. And then yesterday he sends a hello at 3:13 p.m. So, is he trying to holler or was he trying to get hired? Here's my thing. He said hello, I never responded because I just didn't want to continue to deal with you trying to get a job and not actually being interested in me, because clearly you're not. Now I'm truly I'm not seeing you all's comments. I didn't know comments were happening. I didn't know comments were happening. Yeah, Hallie. Hey, Ken. I didn't know comments were happening. I'm not seeing y'all's comments. I'm so sorry I have not said anything. So yeah, he was trying to get hired. And yeah, this is exactly why he by himself, Kayla. I'm just like, wow. Like he and so wow. You know, I was just seeing because, you know, and obviously this didn't work out. It's not gonna. He's crazy. But at the end of the day, while it's comical, it's also not funny. Don't get on, sir. You want to get hired. You're not trying to holler at me. While it's comical, it's not funny. This is my life. Like, I'm trying to really, you know, and then you said you're a Christian. You play for your church. You know, your wife died. You take care of your daughter. I know you're a man that takes care of your business, but you don't try to try to meet someone to get them a job, to get hired. I can't make this stuff up. And so that is what happened. That is one of my experiences. And this is what Single Lady Chronicles is about. Well, one of the topics that Single Lady Chronicles is about. It's me sharing my experience, my dating experiences, and me just sharing information. And so while I just read all his texts and gave you commentary on how this played out, a friend of mine asked the question, now do you think it's a deterrent that you read his text messages and gave his story on your show? And so I said, well, I'm going to do it because it's funny and it's good content. But I'm also going to ask the question. Men, chime in here. Is it a deterrent for me to give my experience verbatim concerning what happened? Men, chime in here. Men, chime in here. I'm asking you to chime in. Let me just go to my Facebook on my computer because my phone is misbehaving. Okay, no. Where is it? Bubbity bub. Men, chime in. Is it wrong for me to give commentary verbatim of text messages from this gentleman? Is it wrong? Is it wrong for me to give commentary? Let me know. Is it wrong for me to give commentary with his text messages verbatim? I mean, I had to give it verbatim because I didn't want to miss anything. I had to give the whole story because this was crazy. So please, men, chime in. Men, chime in. Men, chime in. Hey, Holly. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, Holly. Hey, Kayla. Hey, Hallie. Hi, Stacy. Hey, Taisha. Hey, Sharonza. Bubbity Buck. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Peach. Men, please chime in. If there are no men that are going to chime in, I'm going to just go ahead and leave it at that. B. Hargis. Hey there, B. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So Kayla says, thank you, Kayla. Let me just go ahead to the sisters, since there are no men chiming in. Men chime in. Men chime in. But let me read the sisters' comments. It's only a deterrent if they're not operating in genuine sincerity and authenticity. Say that. Authenticity. It exposes the manipulator, and they don't like that at all. Say that, sis. Exactly. You're only mad if you're wrong. You're only mad if you're not authentic. You're only mad if you're moving in a space, if you're moving in a way that's going to be detrimental. Right? Right. So if you're not misbehaving, then no, it's not a deterrent. If you're an authentic person, thank you, Kayla, for that. If you're an authentic person, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You ain't got nothing to worry about. Taisha said, definitely preying on you as a single homeowner as if you aren't knowledgeable. He sure was. He tried it because I might not know a whole lot, but I'm smart enough to go and ask somebody who does. Right. Kenny says no, as long as you don't disclose their name. Thank you, Kenny. That's what I said. I said, I'm not saying their name. They don't even know what it's. I said, as long as I'm like can of paint. And I'm like, who watching? Y'all watching. I appreciate y'all. But right, as long as you don't expose their name, otherwise there are great scenarios that are from real life matters. Exactly. Also, you're teaching other women to be cautious and alert. Thank you. Because it's crazy out here. I'm sharing my experience because somebody else might, come across this same type of experience. And it's not about bashing anyone. Well, I did say he was crazy. I did say he's crazy. But, I mean, at the end of the day, this was kind of a crazy situation. I kept trying to turn the conversation back to, so, what do you like to do on a date? So, you gonna make a plan? Do you have time to hang out? I kept bringing it back to that conversation, to those conversations. And he kept going back to, because I make money. I make money. I make 6 figures. I buy houses. I flip them, not flip them. I buy houses and I rent them out. It's crazy out here, Kay. It's crazy out here, Kayla. It's crazy out here. And, I'm still very much, So it's crazy out here. And honestly, one of my friends, my guy friends, he said, you need to stay off the internet. And I think he's right. I think I'm going to stay off. But my other thing was, if I'm not on the internet, none of y'all introducing me to anybody. Okay? I said, Haj, you not introducing me to nobody. And he's like, you just got to be out there. I said, Haj, I've been out here for years. And he's known me when I worked for the councilman's office. I said, Haj, I've been in these streets. I said, I'm somewhat of a public person, a public figure. I said, I was on a nationally syndicated talk show for 7 years. I don't know how public I can be or how more out there I can be. But I do know when it's God's time, it's God's time. In the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. There was, and, it's gone. if Peaches don't cut me, if the was called me, I'd answer. Yeah, we're in big trouble, Hallie. Big trouble. It's a situation out here because these men are playing. Yes, B, I was on a nationally syndicated talk show for 7 years. I am the deputy director of an anchor institution in the South Ward of Newark. I'm literally on stages at least twice a month. I see the cops and the firefighters all the time, honey. And still single. And I would say I'm not picky. I would say, and it's okay to be picky. I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I got boxes that need to be checked, but it's, I don't want to say I'm compromising. I'm not compromising. Some stuff that mattered before don't matter now. That's what I'm saying. Don't matter at almost 45. And so, just be a genuine person. Just be a genuine person. Just mean what you say and say what you mean. Just be intentional. Be forthcoming. Be upfront about stuff, and don't be a jerk. And don't be a hoe. These men are hoes. These men are hoes. And the only thing that I've encountered is men swiping. Next. And they swiping the same women. They swiping 10 women every morning. WYD, what you doing? Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful. So, yeah, I just had to share that encounter, that interaction, because it's good TV, child. Child, for what? Am I visiting other churches and other and conventions? Child, you know what they doing at the conventions. They're doing the same thing at the conventions that they're doing at the Beyonce concerts, and I'm just telling the truth. The same thing. The same thing. I'm just telling the truth. So I'm just being available. I am asking the Lord to send me my person. Saying this with love. He is looking for a thirsty woman that he can take it all. Exactly. He sure was. Not and I ain't her. Not thirsty at all. Oh, I'll be at the Lowe's and the Home Depot. I'll be at the Lowe's and the Home Depot. Hi, Toya. I love you. I love all y'all. Thank you. It's a bunch of jerks and hoes out here. But yeah, that has been my experience today. If you're just tuning in, today's show was me giving a conversation, me sharing an experience that I had this week with a gentleman that I met on Facebook dating. I gave him my number, and the topic of today's show was, did he want to holla or did he want to get hired? And it turns out he wanted to get hired. I already knew the answer. I just, had to let it play out. But watch the replay. I'm not going to do the whole story all over again. But yeah, it's crazy. That's my experience. Single Lady Chronicles is about sharing. It's one of the Single Lady Chronicles not topics, but a show could be about just sharing experience. If you are a woman who would like to share what you've been going through in this dating game and you would like to be a guest on the show, we do dating once a month. We do a conversation about things happening in dating once a month. But because I don't want to beat a dead horse with dating every time. There's more to being single than worrying about this, the cesspool that we gotta draw from. And so with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you for tuning in this week's Single Lady Chronicles. It has been one whole month. Ew, 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 ew. Oh. Oh. It's been one whole month. I appreciate you for tuning in. Y'all have been rocking with me. I appreciate you, appreciate you, appreciate you. B, introduce me to your cousin. Don't play with it. Okay? Okay? Introduce me to your cousin. I'm a whole catch. I'm a whole catch. Okay? So thank you so much for being rocking with me for one whole month. Single lady, I'm booked and busy in these streets. It's been a good distraction to be busy and out and in community, on the internet, sharing my talents and sharing with you all. Tomorrow, if you are in the Newark, New Jersey area, if you're going to be in Newark tomorrow, come on out. Myself and Margie Mia X Johnson is hosting the South Ward Juneteenth Festival on Bergen Street near 1049 Bergen Street. Come on out. We're going to be hosting the main stage from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you come, get me a lemonade, give me a piece of chicken, and make sure I got a tea, because I'm going to be hoarse by the time I get done. From 11 to 4 is when the show is. 11 to 4. We're going to be on stage from 11 to 4. Every year I'm usually dog tired. My feet are usually hurting and somebody got to roll me down the street. But please, 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 please come on out. We're hosting the main stage from 11 to 4. Appreciate you. What else? And also, if you're going to be in Newark on Monday, I'm going to be hosting the annual Gospel Music Month celebration at City Hall, 11 a.m., 920. It's not Broad Street anymore. It's 920 Mayor Kenneth Gibson Way, Broad Street at Newark City Hall at 11 a.m. With the Reverend Dr. Albert J. Lewis. And on June 25th, I will be hosting Women at the Well for the North to Shore. Events happening in Newark. This is North to Shore Week, y'all, in Newark. Newark's North to Shore Week, and I'm hosting a North to Shore event called Woman at the Well with Do Ministries. It's a dance experience. It's going to be at Jehovah Jireh Church on 15th Street in Newark. It's $25. Come on out. I'm hosting. I might dance, y'all. I might be dancing. But you got to come on out to see. Thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. Thank you for for tuning in every week for this first month. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time on Single Lady Chronicles. Bye.